to WJJG AM 1530, the Sinatra station in Chicago. And on the line today is our very special guest, Miss Frances. Good afternoon and Happy New Year. How you doing?
Hi, say Connie, George.
All right, Connie. I know you're calling from the southern Florida area. And
yes, I'm right near Fort Lauderdale.
Beautiful. Well, Chicago, we freeze up here in the winter, Connie.
I know. Tell me about it. I lived up north for most of my life, and I'm sorry I didn't move down here 30 years ago. It's so great. The sun is shining. We're getting ready to go into the pool.
Uh-huh.
Oh, sure, rub it in.
I don't want to make you feel bad, George.
Well, you grew up in New Jersey, obviously, like all of us crazy Northeasterners.
Jersey.
And all those jokes about New Jersey, did you ever take those offensively, or did you have a lot of fun with those jokes?
I had a lot of fun with those jokes.
But they still keep coming. They actually get worse as time goes on.
Well, they have. Newark has really been built up beautifully.
Yes.
I mean, it was 10, 15 years ago, it was a war zone. Now it's beautiful with tall buildings, and I just appeared 2 weeks ago at the Performing Arts Center in Newark, and it's the most beautiful theater I've ever been in, and it was voted best theater in the United States.
No kidding.
And so I sang there, and the mayor gave me the key to the city, and the governor sent a proclamation. Hello?
Yeah, we're here.
Don't mind the phone.
Yeah, all kinds of people are calling you.
They have call waiting, so disregard it.
We will.
Disregard it.
Mm-hmm. But you know what? We've read your bio many times throughout the morning, and everybody, literally, you're recognized around the world, and you've been told that a million times. But I went to some pretty deep research, and you are the single most famous recording artist, certainly in your era, far and away. And we're on, our station here in Chicago. We call it the Sinatra station, but today we're Connie Frances station. It's just an honor to have you.
Oh, that's nice.
But the fascinating thing, Connie, that I like about the whole story of your life is you sing beautifully in. I'm Greek American. You sing Greek music,
really?
Arabic. You sing Spanish, of course, beautifully. But how many languages have you sung in? 10? 12?
About 9 or 10. You're right.
Oh, my
10.
goodness gracious.
I forgot Greek, right.
Well, it says here, Connie, that you've done songs in French, German, Hebrew, and Hawaiian, among others.
And Italian and Spanish and Japanese.
That's amazing.
Wow. Do you actually know how to speak
Dutch
all these
and
languages?
Swedish.
Do you know how to speak a lot of these languages?
No. I can speak a little Spanish and I can speak Italian, but the other songs I just lip sync to them. But I made sure that when I was recording with them, with those foreign records, that I had someone with me who knew music and who was a strict disciplinarian. And I said, if I make the slightest sound that sounds foreign, stop me.
Right.
And so that's what they did. And so my records in the foreign countries, especially around Germany, they consider me a German. I mean,
my
because
goodness.
the language was so perfect on them.
Who was your first music teacher way back as a young woman that kind of sent you into the stratosphere? I'm sure everybody has a school teacher, a professor. You must have had several. Who was yours?
Well, when I was 3 years old, my father had my mother take me to Miss Maciola's accordion school of music.
Wow.
Her name was Teresa Maciola for accordion lessons. And believe it or not, George, I saw her 2 weeks ago at the Performing Arts Center. She was still there.
You got to be kidding.
I couldn't believe it.
Wow, that must have knocked you off your seat. Wow.
I really did. And then there was a teacher, Ida Charles. She later became superintendent of schools in Newark. But she was my third grade teacher. And one day we were about to sing the Star Spangled Banner, and I said, Miss Charles, could we sing America the Beautiful? Because it's a much prettier song than the Star Spangled Banner.
Very much so.
She said, I agree with you. All right, let's do America the Beautiful. And she was standing behind me, and when I finished, she said, you have the loveliest voice. I've never heard anyone sing God Bless America like that. America the Beautiful like that. So she encouraged me to be a star in the school plays, and she encouraged me to the point that I considered myself a singer and not an accordion player, the way my father wanted me to be. But those two women, Ida Charles and Miss Massiola, were my inspiration.
That's amazing, and how important are teachers. And you know, up here in the North, we're pretty strong with teachers' unions, Connie, and they just don't pay the teachers to this day. They don't pay them the right.
It's just so unfair.
Who the heck do they think they're going to get in these schools?
It's the most important job in the country.
It is.
Teachers have the most important job in the country, and our future depends upon how dedicated they are. And how dedicated can you be on the kind of money that are paid to them, and the kind of disrespect that's shown by them, by students, that are allowed to be shown by students, and parents who support the care kids no matter what they do, and the teacher's always wrong. It's a vocation that I certainly wouldn't want to be
try.
in the way it is now.
You know, I want to fast forward to the young generation, and we here in Chicago at the Sinatra Station think no one has ever or will match you, but there's some very young people today that are very popular worldwide. We talk about Britney Spears. What is your opinion of her lip syncing? I mean, it's got to move you a little bit sideways, doesn't it? I mean, the girl gets up there, attractive thing, but she doesn't sing at all. She doesn't sing a lick, and she does a lot of lip syncing and choreography with it. What's your opinion of that presentation?
That's a whole difference today, George. When I started out, we had to be able to sing. I mean, that was
that's what I'm getting at.
Yeah, that helped.
Nobody can sing today.
But actually now with video, the whole thing is video. They should ask people when they're auditioning, are you a good dancer? Because it doesn't matter how you sing, we can make you sound good. Are you a good dancer?
My goodness.
And that's really what it's become.
Well, not only that, if somebody wants to endorse a product, they take a month to make the commercial. You used to do one cut, and that was it, right? I mean,
that's right.
One chance.
That's exactly right.
Oh, man, people just don't understand the technology today makes it easy.
It is. They've made it much easier.
Can I ask Connie a question? We were talking about Michael Jackson earlier.
Say it again, George. I can't hear you.
Oh, we were talking about Michael Jackson earlier. Connie, Terry Polis here. How are you?
Hi, Perry.
Pleasure, Connie.
Hi,
it's a pleasure.
Nice to talk to you.
Yes. We were talking. I had a question about early success because you struggled a little in the early part of your career. Of course.
Lot.
And your first couple albums didn't do too well. You had contemplated.
My first 18 records were bombs.
Okay.
At 9 records, with two sides, were 18 records, and I had only one more record to go, and then MGM was going to drop my contract.
Now, you had also contemplated going to New York University at one time.
Yes, I did go for 6 months to take screenplay, screenwriting, and directing. I wasn't sure whether I wanted to be a doctor yet, so I didn't start medical school, but I did have a scholarship to NYU.
Oh, that is phenomenal, Connie. You are multi-talented, and you're truly a unique individual, and we're just so pleased to have you here on New Year's Day on WJJG. But, Connie, it says here you have been on the charts every year someplace in the world, even after 1969 when you made your last 100 chart topper in the United States. That's just mind-boggling. How do you feel about your early struggles and that how it shaped your perspective and your later success? And do you feel that's integral to how you later went on with your career?
Well, I have really two people to thank for any success that I enjoyed. One of them was my father, and the other was Dick Clark. My father had a lot of innovative ideas. As a matter of fact, after Who's Sorry Now became a gold record, he had a job up there. They hired him to select songs for me and for other artists. And it was his idea for me to record in a foreign language. I was very opposed to it.
That's a brilliant idea. Oh,
yeah,
boy.
I said, no, I'm not. You have to do an album of all Italian songs. There are 35 million Italians in the United States. Are you
Sure.
stupid? Do you want to keep playing the Brooklyn Paramount with Alan Freed forever, or do you want to play the Copa in Las Vegas?
He could have been a great political publicist. I'm serious. For a presidential or senatorial campaign, understanding the demographics, he seemed to know it. He would have been great at that too.
Well, I think I'm too honest to have ever been in politics.
But I'm saying your father also was so genius too. He could have.
Oh, my father!
He could have managed literally anybody in the world.
Absolutely, he had such an instinct. And, you know, I would kid him, and I would say every week he would watch Ed Sullivan, and he would watch. What was his name at Columbia? Mitch Miller.
Oh my goodness, yes.
And
yes.
he would watch Lawrence Welk, but so did the rest of America.
Sure.
And he had a taste of middle America, and he always knew when something was wrong for me. And he would say, never try to be sexy, because when you do that, you lose the women, and the women are the people who decide what shows they're going to see.
Ah, see, that's
he
brilliant.
He just gave me so much good advice.
He could look at a show and analyze it on the fly and look 3 and 5 years up. That's
right,
amazing talent.
Exactly.
That really is. It really is.
Connie, this is Dino Taveri. It's a pleasure to speak
Talk louder, George.
Connie, this is Dino Taveri. It's a pleasure speaking with you here. I'm here with George and Terry, and my dad was a huge fan of yours. I heard a lot of your music growing up in the car and on the 8-tracks. And
well, thank you.
And it's amazing going through your bio here, how many, where your place is in musical history. And I was reading something here that says that in 2000 you were named the second. You were the female singer who had appeared on the Hot 100 chart the second most times in history, behind Aretha Franklin. That's absolutely amazing. And they had your movie on the other day, Where the Boys Are, on cable, and I got to catch a little bit of that. I want to actually watch it all the way through.
That was fun. That was a fun movie.
Yeah, what was your experience with that? You had a lot of other actors that were involved in that.
Well, my father didn't want me to do the picture. He said the script is trashy. I said, frankly, Daddy, I don't see anything glorious about that script at all. So he said, oh, no, what about at the end of the picture when those two teenagers are leaving that motel with their arms wrapped around each other? What do you think they were in that room doing, sharing an egg flare? I said, well, they didn't show anything. So he said, you're not doing that picture. That was it. We used to have battles all the time about what I was going to do and what I wasn't going to do. And usually he won, but this time he didn't win. I did Where the Boys Are. I didn't care what he said.
Connie, how did you like working with Nick? I noticed he had written a few songs for you back in the day.
Well, he wrote Where the Boys Are. And Neil came to my house one day with a struggling publisher friend of mine, Donnie Kirshner, who brought these two teenage songwriters to my house. One of them was Howie Greenfield, who was an errand boy or a gopher at a music publishing firm, and the other was his partner, a Juilliard student by the name of Neil Sedaka. And they played me songs. It was like 97 hours, it felt like, of songs that they played, these beautiful songs they played. And I kept saying, no, let me hear something else, let me hear something else. And then finally I said, look, fellas, I don't know how I'm going to tell you this, but I don't think you boys are going to make it in this business. Don't get me wrong, your music is beautiful, but it's too educated. The kids don't dig this kind of stuff anymore. I said, besides you guys are putting me to sleep.
Yeah.
Don't you have something a little more lively? So Howie got up and whispered in Neil's ear, hey, let's give her the one we gave to the Shepherd Sisters this morning. And horrified, Neil whispered back, what are you, crazy? Not that song, Howie. She's a classy singer. She'll be insulted. But Howie said, look, Neil, what have we got to lose? She hates everything we wrote, doesn't she? Play it already. So he played 6 lines of Stupid Cupid before I started jumping up and down and shouting, wow, fellas, now you got my next record. That's it.
Stupid Cupid.
What a smash.
Isn't that amazing
But
how
he
that
wrote a
works?
lot of good songs for me. He's a very, very talented genius.
Oh, he's great. You're coming up here in Las Vegas in a real short period of time at
Yeah, I'll
a
be
major
there this
hotel.
month.
Wow. How do you like that whole perspective of Vegas? Are you comfortable with that out there, those big
No,
stages?
I'm not.
Yeah, I didn't think
It's
so.
very corporate.
Yeah, very much so.
It's very corporate. I remember Las Vegas when I first played there in 1960, and it was still considered like a small town.
Right.
But the cab drivers would be polite and say, "Thank you, ma'am," and "I'll take your," everybody who worked in Las Vegas had to go to school to learn how to treat tourists. Did you know that?
That's amazing.
Yeah, they had to, before they were hired,
Wow.
they had to go to school to learn how to behave with tourists,
Mm-hmm.
to make them feel at home. And the cab driver used to say, well, there's the Sahara Hotel, and starring there is whatever it was. And here's the Sands Hotel, and Frank Sinatra starring there, and there it is. And they were it was like a small town, a small, beautiful Midwestern town. But now today it's very corporate, it's very cold, it's very spectacular, it's awe-inspiring. I mean, to see to see that what man can do. But I think it's lost its charm and its humility.
Yeah, well put. And of course, last night the family, we watched your best friend Dick Clark. How many years has he been on the network, bringing in the new year? It's just amazing.
A long time, many years.
Now,
He just called me a couple of days ago to wish me a Happy New Year. He and his wife, they're wonderful people.
what is the secret that this guy is? It's a corny question, but he looks younger every year. Does he have like a special?
No, he doesn't. He just has one of those faces that don't grow old. He's never had anything done to his face.
Oh my goodness.
He just looks great, you know.
He sure does. What do you got planned for the rest of the day?
I am going to be I'm writing the screenplay of my life story.
No kidding.
Yes.
Wow.
And Gloria Estefan is going to be playing me.
Oh, yes, we read that here in the press
Wow.
release.
Yeah. So
wow.
I have a meeting with Gloria for 2 days starting the 7th of the month.
Connie,
Wow.
Connie,
We'll
when
get
do
together
you?
at my house and read the script and see what we like and what we don't like. And so that's what I'm going to be working on today is the script.
Today on New Year's Day.
That's awesome. Who's going to play your dad?
Well, Gloria is a close friend of Danny DeVito.
Oh my goodness. Could we get a bigger name?
She said, I think this part would be great for Danny. And she spoke with him, and he said, write the script and send me a copy. So I'd love for him to play my father. He would be perfect. And
Oh,
Olympia
my.
Dukakis to play my mother. That would be perfect.
Okay.
Wow.
So I have my ideas about who I would like to have, but I really haven't got anything to say about that.
Right. But boy, you hit some good ones there. Danny DeVito. My
Yeah,
goodness.
he would be ideal as my father.
And Gloria, famous Miami singer, of course, and will do the job well. I'm pretty sure, from what I know about Gloria's work, she's incredible. Boy, that's really exciting. I'll tell you, we can't wait to see that one.
Gloria is a very focused girl.
Very much so.
Very focused. She's very professional.
Mm-hmm.
She's a nice person. She's very professional and very, very bright.
Very much so. Well, we're going to let you get back to the beautiful Florida weather, and the people in Chicago are honored to have you on. I don't know. I think your fans, of course, are very big in New Jersey, New York, but you have millions of fans in Chicago.
Well, thanks.
We're
I'm
in
going to have
Atlantic
to come
City.
out and appear in Chicago.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm going to just announce the Connie Francis website. It's www.conniefrancis.com if
That's
you want to
easy.
get some more
Yeah.
information about Connie.
And Connie, again, when can we expect?
What's that?
When can we expect this life story to come out?
I don't know. It depends very much on how fast I do it.
Okay, and you're working on it
How
today.
soon I complete the manuscript.
Well, we're going to let you go so you can focus in because we can't wait to see it now.
Good.
Miss Francis, it's an honor. God bless you.
Please call me Connie. It makes me uncomfortable when
Well, I don't know. From where I come from, a person as famous as you needs to be respected, and we're kind of old school. But Connie, we love you for coming on. We really do. And
Thank you. It's my pleasure.
we're going to be down to Florida and bring you some stuff from Chicago one of these days.
All right. You have my phone number now.
You got it. All right.
Okay.
Thank
take
you, ma'am.
care.
Thanks.
Goodbye,
Bye
George.
now.
Legend.
Wow. Connie Francis live from Florida, the Fort Lauderdale area. Just absolutely amazing. And Dino Tiberi's here with Terry Poulos. If you look at the bio, how many records has she sold? It's in the tens.
70, it said here. She made 40. What did she say? In the 60s alone, she made 44 albums.
44 albums.
6 of them in 1 year.
Oh, my
It
goodness.
says here in Europe she is much more popular with over 160 CDs released in
Oh,
Europe. She has always been on the charts, even after '69 when she produced her last chart topper. Because somewhere in the world, she's always on the top of the charts. Still to this day, at the age of what, George, 65?
I'm not sure.
Well,
I
we're
don't
not
even
gonna
know.
speculate. I think that's about right, though. But
You know what? She is not in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in Cleveland. This is how I got my idea to begin with. I read the website, the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, with Bono's in there, all these famous guys, Bob Dylan. Oh, that's cool. It hit me accidentally one day about a year ago. I was talking with Mike Northrop at the Score. I said, Mike, Connie Francis is not in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. He thought I was kidding. He had her on his show, by the way, about several months ago. And they talked about this Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. I don't get it, guys. I mean, anybody out there have any power in Cleveland? Connie Francis is not in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame? You must be kidding.
well, the stats alone would tell you, just based on some of the things we've touched on this morning. I mean, you look at the bio, things just jump out at you. There's no reason why she shouldn't be in the Hall of Fame based on everything I'm reading right here. As popular as she was back in the 60s, 50s, and 60s, there's no reason why she couldn't be in there especially with the likes of some of the acts that have made the Hall of Fame. There's
Well,
no reason
I know
to
this is
keep her
another
out of there.
corny analogy, and this is the new year to stop them, but Pete Rose is not in the Hall of Fame, and Connie Francis is not in the Hall of Fame? You got to be kidding me.
Come on, don't
No,
make
I mean,
that
come on.
comparison.
Well, wait a minute. Pete Rose, number 1 or 2 greatest baseball players of all time, right?
Yeah.
Connie Francis, number 1 or number 2 female recording of all time.
Well,
and she's not in the Hall of Fame?
Pete
You've
Rose-
got to be joking.
Pete Rose is not in the Hall of Fame because of some legal
I know.
mumble jumble
I'm,
or another.
I'm using a soft analogy,
Yeah,
but I
understand.
I mean, her status in the world is set.
It says right here she was establishing herself in the late 50s and 60s, at which time rock and roll was regarded as a untalented fad.
Uh-huh.
Here, okay. Now,
Yeah, Elvis. Yeah, okay.
Connie Francis was a teenage idol, a top mature performer later at Copacabana, Carnegie Hall, blah 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 blah. But she transformed her career. She evolved later in life, sort of like a Madonna, into changing her music to adapt to her more mature audiences later in life.
Right.
So she's very versatile. She was maybe going to be a doctor. She was in films. She had multiple records. Early on, most of her records were bombs, and admittedly so.
She's so
But
honest about
she
the interview.
stuck to
The
it.
first 18 or so records, yeah.
Just the fact that she had so much adversity early in her career with her career, and she persevered into such a giant, is worthy of recognition in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Well, Dick Clark saw it, and he was the most important promoter. Still could be to this day of radio, TV, concerts, and show appearances. I mean, my God. I mean, it's just amazing.
It's an injustice. There's something wrong there. I don't know. We need Patrick Fitzgerald, the U.S. Attorney of Northern Illinois, to investigate this.
Well, he's going to have to right the wrong and get her back in where she belonged.
Do we have a U.S. Attorney for the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame that investigates injustices of this nature? Maybe he works for the BCS or something, and he's sleeping on the job or something. I don't
This
know.
guy's going to have to get his hands on everything. You know, Fitzgerald, he'll need to, like you say, the BCS. We could go right down the list. A lot of injustices out there, and Fitzgerald's the man to straighten it out.
Yeah. Maybe Judge Ito's the one who's overlooking this or something. I don't
Where
know.
is that guy these days?
You know, yeah.
Whatever happened to Lance Ito? I mean, you talk about Michael Jackson, you talk about Kobe, you talk about people under trial, and you take on respectable Connie Francis, gave her, respect to teachers, which everybody understands,
Right.
went overboard and said that, I would never be a teacher because they don't pay him enough. I mean, the lady understands life in general, and she's been so successful. She's been a promoter of her home state, New Jersey, and, like a guy like me, I've been in New Jersey many times, and Newark has its rough spots, and this new theater that she helped open, I'm going to go. I mean, it's going to be a great place to go. She's a promoter of everything she does. She's kind of a PR genius. I'm sure she got it from her father, and he used to see all these shows and say, wait a minute, this is the way we're going to do it. And that's what made it come forward. They don't have managers like that today. I hope I didn't insult Britney Spears fans out there, but, the young girl is attractive, but she can't. I've said it over and over again on this station and to my friends in the media and over at the TV stations. Britney Spears cannot sing.
Right.
She cannot dance, and she cannot act.
She can't dance. Oh, I don't know about that. I think she can dance okay.
She can dance?
That's what she can
Oh,
do.
come on.
Well,
She's a disco
can shake,
dance.
She can shake it. She can shake her figure,
you're getting those subtle
Okay.
differences.
No.
There's a little bit of
Why
a
is she
difference.
popular? Okay, her mom's a good manager, like Connie's dad was. But, when you compare it to the talent of yesteryear, it's joking. It's a joking
and
matter.
Connie's still at the top of the charts, somewhere in the world after 60. When Britney turns 30, she'll be an afterthought. I don't think she'll ever evolve like Madonna because she doesn't have the voice. Madonna actually can sing a little bit.
Madonna definitely
Christina
has talent.
Aguilera can sing. She'll be singing until she's 40, 50 years old.
Now, her genre might not hang, but Connie sang 6 or 10 or 12 languages.
She'll evolve. They all evolve. They learn because, otherwise you're not going to sell any records if you don't
Go
know.
tell Britney Spears to go sing in some other language. She'd fall over dead.
Oh, yeah, forget it. And, she's got the frog in her voice, and, she is an attractive girl, and her acting ability is suspect also. But, I really wanted to ask Connie what she thought about early success because of the Michael Jackson thing and how dysfunctional he seems to be.
That would have been, we'll get her next time.
Since he's been 6 years old, the guy's been in the spotlight, and I'm not making any excuses.
Well, she started when she was that same rough
age. Yeah, but
age.
she had early adversity in her career, and that gave her perspective on life in general. I don't think Michael Jackson he's been living in a dream world.
When is too soon, You're out there when you're 7, 8 years old with your brothers, and you're constantly under the media's scrutiny, and that's tough. I don't know. I mean, but still, he's had a very productive career, and then lately he's just had a few, he's had his problems. But it would have been a good question to ask Connie, and maybe you can save that one for the next time.
And, there has been some stuff, and I had lots of notes here, and I don't have to go into it, obviously, but, she had some really bad times in her life. There was some bad crimes perpetrated on her, and everybody knows the story, what happened in New Jersey. I just wanted to keep it light today, the new year, and then this whole thing about Gloria Estefan going to play her life story. Oh, come on, she's perfect for the part. Gloria will study it like a son of a gun, and Danny DeVito, I'm sure, will be as humorous as heck and play the Italian father quite well.
That's no. I guess Danny DeVito sounds like he's on board, but Olympia Dukakis is just her choice. That's Connie's choice, but the producers will wind up having the final say-so in that.
But I mean, Gloria Estefan, can you imagine her singing Connie's songs? She has the approximate same range, so that's going to be a good one, guys. I'm telling you.
That'll be maybe a year or two down the road when she gets the script finalized and get everything put together, and that'll be good for all the fans of Connie Francis to be able to see her version of of her life as she's continuing to pen right now.
Well, what we're going to do is we're going to bug Joe and Carol for money to fly us down to Florida so we can be extras in the movie. You listening, Joe?
One of the big stories of the year 2003, Joe Gentile retires.
Yeah.
After, 40, 50 years in the car business?
Yeah, he worked as long as Connie at her craft doing it as well.
Well, I got his
Amazing.
last car. I'm driving it right now. The last car he sold. So.
Yeah,
there it is.
We're here with Dino Tiberi, Terry Poulos. We just interviewed Connie Francis here on WJJG, Chicago's hometown station. Happy New Year, everybody. I can't believe it's 2004. I was born 3 centuries